The cold night stretched across the abandoned outpost. Stars shone above like silver dust, but the ground was broken and silent. A single human traveler, Captain Arik, walked carefully among the ruins. His boots pressed against metal scraps, echoing in the emptiness. He was far from home, far from Earth, and even farther from safety. Arik had not expected to find anyone here. The scanner said the outpost was dead, long forgotten. No trade, no people, no reason to come. Yet something pulled him to land his small ship here, some feeling he could not explain. As he walked, he saw a shadow move between broken walls. His hand went to his sidearm. "Who's there?" His voice was sharp, cutting the silence. A small figure stepped into the weak light. It was a girl, or something that looked like a girl. Her skin was pale with a strange shimmer, her clothes torn and dirty. She looked fragile, almost weightless, as if one strong wind could break her. Her eyes glowed faintly, two soft lights in the dark. Arik froze. An alien. Young, weak, and alone. The girl raised her hand slowly, showing she had no weapon. Her voice was soft, shaking. "Please, don't hurt me." Arik lowered his gun, but only a little. "Who are you?" I am no one," she whispered. Her accent was strange, but her words were clear. "I am just hungry." Her thin hands trembled. Her clothes were not made for cold nights. She looked as if she had been running for days. Arik studied her carefully. She did not look dangerous. In fact, she looked broken. But something about her eyes made his skin crawl. Arik was not a cruel man. He had seen too much suffering in his travels. He remembered the promise he once made to himself. Never walk away from someone in need, even if the stars are cold. He reached into his pack and pulled out a ration bar. "Here," he said, tossing it gently toward her. The alien girl caught it with both hands and ate quickly, almost desperately. Crumbs fell on the ground, but she did not care. For a moment, Arik felt a strange warmth in his chest. Kindness. A simple act, but it felt important. When she finished, she looked at him with those glowing eyes. Why did you help me?" she asked. Arik shrugged. "Because you needed it." Her lips curved in a faint, broken smile. But then her face grew serious. She leaned closer and whispered, "You will regret this, or maybe you will be blessed. I do not know yet." The words struck him like ice. Arik frowned. "What do you mean?" She looked away as if afraid to say more. You should not be near me. Danger follows me." "But your kindness, it may change everything." Arik felt the hair on his neck rise. What was she hiding? Why would a poor, helpless girl speak with such strange weight? The wind howled across the ruins. A broken antenna creaked and fell. The silence grew heavier. Arik looked at the girl again. She was shaking both from cold and fear. He sighed. "Come with me. My ship is close. You'll be safe there." Her glowing eyes widened. "You would take me with you? Even when you don't know me?" Arik gave a small smile. "I don't need to know you. Sometimes kindness is enough." For a moment, the girl looked as if she might cry. She nodded slowly and stepped closer. They walked through the ruins together. The night air was sharp and the stars above seemed to watch them silently. Arik felt uneasy. Every step with her beside him felt like stepping into unknown space. Finally, they reached his ship. The ramp lowered with a hiss of steam. The girl stopped, staring at the human craft with wide eyes. "You are human," she whispered. "Yes," Arik replied. "Does that mean something to you?" She only shook her head, but her glowing eyes held a secret. As they entered the ship, Arik could not shake the feeling that this meeting was not chance. The way she had looked at him, the way she spoke of regret and blessing, it felt like the start of something bigger, something hidden behind her fragile frame. That night, as the engines hummed and the ship lifted from the ruined ground, Arik glanced at her once more. She was curled up in the seat, still weak, still silent. Yet her glowing eyes never closed. And in the silence of the ship, one thought haunted him. Who is she really? And what fate has my kindness unlocked? The ship floated through the silent dark. Engines hummed, stars stretched like silver fire outside the window. Inside, Captain Arik sat at the control panel, pretending to relax. But his eyes kept moving to the girl sitting in the corner. She hadn't spoken much since they left the ruined outpost. She just sat there, knees pulled close, glowing eyes never closing. For a while, Arik thought she might fall asleep. But no, she was watching. Always watching, Arik tried to ignore her and focused on his instruments. Then something strange happened. The navigation screen blinked. A star map shifted for no reason. A set of coordinates appeared, glowing faintly before vanishing again. Arik frowned. He tapped the controls. "That's impossible," he muttered. The ship's computer was clean. No viruses, no intrusions, yet the map had moved on its own. He glanced at the girl. She sat still, her glowing eyes reflecting the light from the panel. She didn't move, but a faint hum filled the air, like electricity, like whispers. Arik shook his head. Must be a glitch, he told himself. But deep inside, he felt it wasn't. Later, as the ship drifted through empty space, the lights flickered. Just for a moment, and every time the lights dimmed, Arik saw the girl's eyes glow brighter. He felt a chill run down his spine. The girl noticed his stare. "You are afraid of me?" she asked softly. Arik crossed his arms. "I'm not afraid, just curious." She tilted her head. "Curious is the first step to fear." Her words made him uneasy. He wanted to ask more, but the ship beeped sharply. A proximity alert. Arik turned to the panel. Nothing was near. Empty space. No asteroids. No ships. Nothing. Yet the alarm screamed as if danger was close. Then, as suddenly as it began, the alarm went silent. Arik slammed a hand against the console. "What in the stars is happening?" The girl whispered. "The universe speaks when I am near. Machines, they do not lie. They feel me." Arik stared. "What are you talking about?" She lowered her head. "I did not want this. I only wanted to be small. To be forgotten, but they always know where I am." Her words sent a shiver through him. Who were they? And why did machines change when she was close? That night, Arik tried to rest. He lay in his cabin, eyes half closed. But sleep refused to come. In his dreams, or maybe in his waking mind, he saw alien symbols burning across the walls. Strange curves, glowing lines. He heard whispers in a language he didn't know, yet somehow almost understood. When he woke, sweat covered his face. He stumbled into the control room. The girl was there, sitting exactly where he left her, glowing eyes watching him. "You saw them, didn't you?" she whispered. Arik froze. "What do you mean?" "The symbols. The voice. The stars calling to you." Arik's blood ran cold. "How do you know that?" She only gave a faint smile, one that was not joy but sadness. "Because once they came to me too." He wanted to demand answers, but before he could speak, the ship's scanner blared again. This time it wasn't false. Shapes moved in the distance. Fast. Precise. Arik leaned forward. His heart pounded. Several ships were entering the sector. Their scans swept across the dark like hunters searching for prey. The girl's glow dimmed. She looked smaller, more fragile. But her hands trembled, not from fear of space. Arik realized it was fear of them. "They are searching for me," she whispered. Arik turned sharply. "Who are they? Why would anyone hunt you?" Her lips trembled. She shook her head, refusing to answer. Outside, the unknown ships drew closer. Arik's instinct screamed. Something told him to push her out, to throw her from his ship, to save himself. But another voice inside reminded him, never abandon someone in need. His fingers hovered over the control panel. He could give her away, end this madness, fly safe. Or he could hide her, protect her, and invite danger straight into his life. The girl looked at him with eyes full of pain and secrets. "Please, don't let them find me." Arik took a deep breath. His decision would shape everything. He slammed the controls. The ship's shields darkened, engines powered low. He hid in the shadows of a nearby asteroid belt. The hunting ships passed slowly, beams cutting through the dark. For several tense minutes, Arik and the girl sat in silence. Then at last, the hunters moved away. The danger was gone. For now. Arik turned to the girl. His voice was steady but sharp. "You're going to tell me the truth. Who are you really?" Her glowing eyes looked at him, full of sorrow and fear. "I am not who you think I am," she whispered, and with those words, the air around them grew heavier. The mystery deepened. The asteroid belt hid the ship in darkness, but Arik's hand stayed tight on the controls. Every nerve in his body told him danger was close. The girl sat behind him, her glowing eyes fixed on the black window of space. The hunters had passed for now. But Arik knew this was not the end. The way their scanners cut through the void, sharp and searching, felt like wolves sniffing for prey. They would return. He turned toward the girl. "Who are they? Why are they chasing you?" Her lips parted, but no words came. She looked away, silent. Arik slammed a hand against the console. I just risked my life to hide you. Don't make me regret it, she flinched, then whispered. They are my people, Arik froze. Your people? You mean your own kind are hunting you? She nodded slowly. Yes, they will never stop. Not until they take me back, or end me. The words were soft, but they carried weight. A chill spread through Arik. Why would anyone's own people hunt them like that? What secret was she hiding? Before he could press her further, the scanner beeped again. A new signal, fast, too fast. Arik's heart sank. They found us. Outside, one of the hunting ships broke away from the pack. It moved with deadly precision, sliding into the asteroid belt. Its beam swept left and right, slicing shadows apart. The girl's body tensed. Her eyes glowed brighter, trembling like fire about to burst. Stay down, Arik ordered, pulling the ship deeper into the rocks. He switched off every non-essential system, leaving only life support. The cockpit grew dim. The hunter ship glided closer, engines humming like a predator's growl. Arik held his breath. One wrong move and they were finished. The girl pressed her hands together. Her voice was barely a whisper. They can feel me. Even in shadows, Arik glanced at her. Then hide it. Whatever power you have, turn it off. Her eyes watered. I can't, not fully. The hunter's beam swept across their asteroid. The light passed by the cockpit, flashing across Arik's face. He didn't move. He didn't breathe, then silence. The beam faded. The hunter slid past. Arik exhaled slowly, but the relief didn't last. A second later, alarm screamed. The enemy ship had fired a probe. It latched onto the asteroid and drilled deep, sending out pulses of energy. The girl gasped. They will find me! Arik cursed. He slammed the engines to life. The ship burst from hiding, metal grinding against stone. The hunter spun, lasers firing. Bolts of red light slashed across space. Arik dove, weaving between rocks, each shot shaking the hull. The girl clung to her seat, glowing eyes wide with fear. Another blast grazed their shields. Warning lights flashed red. Arik gritted his teeth. We can't outrun them in this belt. He twisted the ship sharply, heading straight for a narrow canyon between two massive rocks. The hunter followed, but its size slowed it down. As they shot through the canyon, the girl's hands began to glow. Strange lines of light crawled up her arms like living symbols. The ship's console flickered, screens filling with alien patterns. Arik shouted, "What are you doing?" Her voice shook. "If I don't, we die." She pressed her hands against the console. The ship's system screamed, lights flaring bright. Suddenly, the asteroid field shifted. Rocks moved unnaturally as if obeying her. One massive stone slid across the hunter's path, smashing into its hull. The explosion lit the void. Pieces of metal spun into darkness. Arik stared, speechless. The girl collapsed back into her seat, breathing hard, her glow fading. You moved the asteroids," he whispered. She closed her eyes. "I didn't want you to see that." Arik's hands trembled on the controls. She was no poor, weak runaway. She was something far more dangerous and powerful. The scanners beeped again. More hunters were coming. The first one may have been destroyed, but the rest were closing in. Arik turned to her, voice sharp. "I need the truth. Now, who are you really?" Her glowing eyes opened slowly, filled with pain. She whispered, "I am not a poor girl. I am the one they fear." The silence that followed was heavier than any words. Outside, the hunters drew closer. Inside, Arik realized his kindness had tied him to something far larger than himself. And there was no turning back. The ship rattled as Arik pushed the engines to their limit. Behind them, the hunters spread like shadows, their lights cutting across the dark. The asteroid belt was gone now. Only open space stretched ahead, no more rocks to hide behind. Arik's heart pounded. He had flown through battles before, but this was different. The hunters weren't after him. They wanted her, and every instinct screamed that he should let her go. Yet he couldn't. The girl sat weak in her seat, her glow fading after what she had done to the asteroids. Her breaths were short, her hands trembling, but her glowing eyes still burned with a secret weight. Arik slammed the console. "Enough hiding! Tell me who you are. Why are they hunting you?" She looked down silent. Arik's jaw tightened. "I risked everything to save you. I deserve the truth." The girl's lips trembled. She whispered, "The truth will only put you in more danger." Arik leaned closer, his voice sharp. Too late for that. Before she could answer, a sharp blast shook the ship. A hunter had locked on. Shields flared, alarms screamed. The cabin lit up red. The girl gasped and gripped the seat. Her hands glowed again, brighter this time, lines of light crawling up her arms. The ship's systems flickered as if alive. Then something impossible happened. The hunter's laser froze in mid-space, hanging like a trapped beam of fire. Arik's eyes widened. The energy dissolved into dust before reaching them. He turned to her in shock. What did you just do? Tears rolled down her cheeks. I never wanted you to see this, Arik stared. See what? You can stop weapons, bend asteroids, make machines move on their own? Her body shook as if the power hurt her. It is not control. It is the connection. The universe listens to me, but it is not a gift. It is a curse. Arik's voice grew softer, though his heart raced. Who are you? She closed her eyes. I was born to a throne I never wanted. My people call me a daughter of the core, a child of power. They want me to lead them into war. But I wanted peace, so I ran. Her glowing eyes opened again, full of sorrow. They will never forgive me for leaving. And now you, because you helped me, you are part of my curse. Arik's mind spun. A runaway princess? A living weapon? She didn't look like a ruler. She looked like a fragile girl carrying a weight too heavy for her body. He gritted his teeth. So all this time you let me think you were just poor and lost. She flinched. I am poor in spirit, lost in hope, but not in power. Power has always chained me. Another blast hit the shields. Sparks flew. Arik snapped back to the controls. The hunters were regrouping, pressing harder. He growled, Curse or not, we won't live if you don't use it again. The girl shook her head. Every time I call it, they feel me stronger. They will never stop. Arik glanced at her, then at the hunters outside. His jaw set. Then let them come. We'll make them regret it. The girl stared at him in disbelief. Why would you fight for me? You barely know me. Arik smirked faintly, though his hands trembled on the controls. Because that's what humans do. We fight for the ones who can't fight for themselves. For the first time, her lips curved in a real smile, but it was small, sad, and full of fear. The hunters spread into attack formation. Their ships glowed like angry eyes in the void. The girl straightened, her glow returning stronger. If I fight, if I truly fight, you will see what I am, and you may never look at me the same again. Arik's gaze was steady. Then show me, because right now the only thing I see is someone worth saving. Her breath caught. Slowly, she raised her hands, light spilling across the cabin like fire. Symbols spun in the air, glowing lines that Arik couldn't understand. The ship trembled, not from damage, but from her power. Outside, the hunters slowed. Their weapons flickered, their engines faltered. One by one, their system shut down as if the universe itself had turned against them. Arik's eyes widened in awe. She wasn't just powerful, she was something beyond reason. Something no human had ever seen, and yet in her eyes he saw only sadness. She whispered, Now you know. I am no poor girl. I am a storm wrapped in flesh, and storms always destroy what they touch. Arik's chest tightened. He didn't know whether to feel fear or admiration. Maybe both, but one thing was certain. The truth had cracked open and his life would never be the same. The stars outside were silent, but inside the ship the air was heavy. Arik's hands still rested on the controls, though the enemy hunters now floated powerless in the void. Their ships drifted like broken toys, lifeless after the girl's power had touched them. Arik stared at her. He could not look away. The glow from her body was fading again, but he had seen enough. She was no poor wanderer, no lost refugee. She was something far greater. His voice was low, almost a whisper. What are you? The girl lifted her head slowly. Her glowing eyes carried both pride and sorrow. I am a daughter of the core, the bloodline of rulers. My name is Saris. Arik repeated it under his breath. Saris, she nodded faintly. My people rule through fear. They bend stars to war, turn worlds into weapons. I was born their heir. They wanted me to lead the fleets to crush all who opposed us. But I could not. Her voice shook. I wanted peace. I wanted to walk among the stars without chains. So I fled, and now they hunt me. Not because I am weak, but because I am strong. Too strong. Arik sat back, stunned. A runaway princess, powerful enough to bend machines, stop weapons, even shift asteroids. It sounded like legend, not life. Yet she sat before him, trembling, her glow dim but real. Why tell me this now? He asked. Saris looked at him with sad eyes. Because you deserve the truth. You gave me kindness when no one else would. I tested you, human. I needed to know if the stories were true. Arik's brow furrowed. Stories? She nodded. Legends of humans. Of your people. Long ago, whispers spread across the stars. That humans choose kindness even when there is no reward. That humans can see more than power, they see heart. I did not believe it. But when you gave me food, when you chose to protect me instead of giving me away, I knew the legend was real. Arik felt a chill. Somewhere deep inside, pride stirred. Humanity, a legend among the stars? Could it be true? But he forced himself to stay sharp. So I helped you, and now I'm stuck in your war. Why me? Saris lowered her gaze. Because fate chose you. Because my kindness test was never about food. It was about spirit. You passed, and now you are bound to me. Her words hit him like a blade. Bound? To a fugitive princess with power that could shatter worlds? Arik shook his head. You make it sound like destiny. Saris's faint smile returned. Perhaps it is. Before Arik could argue, the ship's sensors beeped again. The hunters were waking, systems crawling back to life. Their lights flickered, their engines roared. Saris tensed. They will not stop. More will come. I have revealed too much. Soon the fleet will know where I am. Arik's gut twisted. Then we run. He pulled the ship into a sharp turn, blasting away from the dead hunters. But he knew escape was only temporary. The galaxy was wide, but power like hers would always leave a trail. As stars streaked past, silence filled the cabin. Arik wanted to speak, to ask more, but words failed him. He could feel her pain, her burden. She was powerful beyond reason, but lonely, hunted, cursed. Finally, he broke the silence. Saris, if you're as powerful as you say, why don't you fight back? Why not destroy them all? Her eyes closed. Because I would become what they want me to be. A weapon, a queen of war. I will not, Arik studied her. For a moment he saw not a princess, not a storm, but a girl. Tired, fragile, desperate for peace. His chest tightened, he sighed. Then we'll keep running, together. Her eyes opened wide. You would stay with me? Even now that you know the truth? Arik gave a half smile. Truth doesn't scare me. But lies do.
You're not lying anymore.
That's enough for me. Her lips parted, but no words came. Instead, her eyes shimmered with a strange light, not just glow, but emotion. For the first time, she looked less like a storm, and more like someone who wanted to be saved. But before the moment could last, the scanners screamed again. A larger signal this time. Dozens of ships. A fleet, Arik cursed under his breath. They're closing in, Saris whispered. It is the royal fleet. My father's hand, the cabin grew heavy. Arik's heart hammered. A fleet against one ship? Impossible odds. But Saris's voice was steady, almost calm. Your kindness changed my path. Perhaps it will change everything, but first we must survive. Her glowing eyes burned brighter than ever, not weak, not helpless, but ready. Arik tightened his grip on the controls. Fate had chosen him whether he liked it or not. And as the fleet drew closer, he realized this was no longer her fight alone. It was theirs, the void lit up with fire. Dozens of ships emerged from the dark, their sleek forms glowing with the mark of the royal fleet. Their engines burned like suns, their weapons locked tight on one target, Arik's small vessel. Arik's chest tightened. He had seen enemy lines before, but never like this. This was not a hunt anymore. This was a wall of war. Beside him, Saris sat straight, her glowing eyes fixed on the fleet. She didn't tremble now. She looked calm, too calm. Arik gritted his teeth. That's your family out there? Saris nodded. My father's hand. They want me alive, but they will kill you without thought. Arik gave a short laugh, though fear burned in his throat. Nice to know I'm important. The scanners screamed. The fleet was surrounding them, closing in like a cage of steel. Saris whispered, we can still escape, but only if we fight together. Arik glanced at her. You mean, with your power? She nodded. With your hands and my storm. Alone we fall. Together we may break the chains. Arik's fingers hovered over the controls. He was only a man with a ship, rusty, patched, small. But something inside him stirred. The same thing that made him give food to a stranger. The same thing that kept him from throwing her out when the danger began. All right, he muttered. Let's show them what kindness can do. The fleet moved in. Weapons glowed. Arik slammed the thrusters, diving straight into the cage. The ship roared forward, weaving between enemy beams. Explosions lit up the dark as lasers cut past their hull. Saris raised her hands. Her glow returned brighter than before, filling the cabin like sunlight. Symbols spun in the air, forming circles of light. The hunter's weapons flickered, beams bending off course. "Now," she cried. Arik twisted the ship, diving under one cruiser, then blasting upward through its blind spot. Enemy fire struck their own ally, tearing ships apart. The fleet adjusted, moving in tighter. But Saris was already moving. Her glow spread beyond the ship, wrapping it in light. Enemy systems sparked and shut down as if their own machines betrayed them. Still, there were too many. For every ship that failed, 2 more closed in. The cabin shook as a blast slammed into their shields. Warning lights flared red. "We can't hold this forever," Arik shouted. Saris's face was pale, her glow trembling. Sweat ran down her brow. "I can push harder, but the cost—" Arik glanced at her. "What cost?" Her voice shook. "The more I use it, the more I lose myself. My people call it the core's price. If I burn too bright, I may never return." Arik's chest clenched. She was ready to sacrifice herself. He growled, "No. We'll find another way." The fleet closed tighter. Missiles launched, dozens at once. Arik gripped the controls, but he knew there was no escape. Too many. Too close. Saris stood, her body blazing like fire. Her voice echoed, not just in the ship, but in Arik's mind. "Then let me be the shield. If I fall, remember me not as a weapon, but as the girl you saved." Arik leapt from his seat, grabbing her wrist. Her skin burned with light, but he held tight. "Listen to me. You're not alone. You don't have to carry this curse alone. If you burn, I burn with you. We fight together or not at all." Her glowing eyes widened. For the first time she looked shaken, not by fear but by his words. Then she smiled. A small, broken smile, but real. "Then together it is." The missiles closed in. Arik swung the ship upward. "Do it!" Saris raised both hands, her body shining like a star. The symbols exploded around her, filling the void. The missiles froze, then shattered into dust. Waves of light spread across space, ripping through enemy systems. Cruisers shut down, weapons crumbled, engines died. But the effort shook her body. She fell to her knees, the glow flickering. Arik caught her before she hit the ground. "Stay with me, Saris, stay." Outside, silence fell. The once mighty fleet now floated powerless, their ships dark, their weapons dead. Only Arik's small vessel remained alive in the void. But inside, Saris was fading. Her glow dimmed to a faint shimmer. She whispered, "Kindness gave me strength." "Your strength. Without you, I would be nothing but a storm." Arik held her tighter. "Don't you dare give up now. This isn't the end." Her lips curved faintly. "No, this is only the beginning." Her glowing eyes closed. Arik stared at her still form, heart pounding. Outside, he had beaten a fleet. But inside, he was losing the one who made it possible. And in that moment, he realized the real battle wasn't against the fleet. It was against fate itself. Silence filled the stars. The once mighty royal fleet now drifted like broken statues, their weapons dead, their engines cold. The void, which moments ago had burned with fire and fury, was now quiet, almost too quiet. Arik sat in the pilot's chair, breathing hard. His hands trembled on the controls. He had faced death before, but never like this. Never against such odds, and yet they were still alive. He turned. Saris lay in the co-pilot's seat, her glow faint as a dying ember. Her breaths were shallow, her body weak. She looked less like the storm that had destroyed a fleet and more like a girl fading into shadow. Arik reached for her hand. "Saris, and stay with me." Her glowing eyes fluttered open. Weak but still shining. "We'd survived?" Arik gave a shaky laugh. "Somehow, yes." She smiled faintly. "Then it was worth it." He shook his head. "No, not if it cost you." Her voice was soft, almost breaking. "The cost was always mine to bear. But your kindness gave me strength I never had. Without you, I would have burned alone." Arik's throat tightened. He had saved many lives in his journeys, but this felt different. This wasn't just rescue, it was destiny. Outside, fragments of enemy ships floated like silent witnesses. But the danger wasn't gone. Arik knew the fleet would rise again. The Empire wouldn't accept this loss. And when they returned, they would come with more fire. He leaned closer. "What happens now, Saris? You can't keep running forever." Her eyes grew distant, filled with pain and hope at once. "Now, the path changes. I am no longer just their runaway princess. I am a promise." "A promise tied to you," Arik frowned. "A promise?" "Yes," she whispered. I swore to myself long ago that if anyone ever showed me kindness without demand, I would give them everything in return. That is our bond now. Arik's chest tightened. He didn't want rewards. He didn't want thrones or power. He only wanted her to live free from chains. Saris, he said firmly, I don't want your throne. I don't want your war. I only want you to be safe. Her lips curved into a soft smile. Then you will have more than safety. You will have me. And one day, my people will see what I have seen. Arik didn't answer. His mind raced. If her people discovered she had bonded with a human, would they accept it or see it as betrayal? Before he could speak, the scanner blinked. Not enemies this time, messages. Fragments of signals, broadcasts across the void. Word of the destroyed fleet was already spreading. Saris's face grew pale. It has begun. My father will not forgive this. He will come himself. Arik cursed under his breath. The galaxy was big, but not big enough to hide from an empire's wrath. Still, he met her gaze with steady eyes. Then let him come. If he wants you, he'll have to go through me. Her glowing eyes shimmered, filled with both sadness and wonder. You are unlike any being I have ever known. Arik gave a half smile. That's what makes us human. For a long moment they sat in silence, the hum of the ship the only sound. The storm of battle had passed, but the storm of fate still waited ahead. Finally, Saris closed her eyes and whispered, Your kindness changed my fate. And because of that, you may have changed the fate of all your people. Arik stared out at the stars. Her words echoed inside him. Changed the fate of humanity? He was only one man in one small ship. How could that be? Yet deep inside he felt it. The legend she spoke of, the one about humans choosing kindness, was no longer just a story. It was real. It was living, breathing proof, and it had already begun. He tightened his grip on the controls. Ahead lay unknown stars, unknown wars, unknown futures. But one thing was clear. This was not the end. It was only the beginning. As the ship vanished into the dark, Saris's faint glow flickered, then steadied. Her final whisper carried through the cabin. When the time comes, I will return for you, and together we will decide whether the stars burn in war or shine in peace. The void swallowed their small vessel, leaving only silence behind. But the galaxy had already changed.